The information of NSA and IM takeover of Intangki is more than sufficiently officially known to the state government, whichever chief minister it might have been. Either is it Mr. Rio, Mr. TR or Mr. Sirote, they know for a fact what is their intention and what do they intend to do. There is no instruction, there is no directive as to what the forest department should do. What kind of a state government is this? Even the forest department had to take the permission from the NSA in to go into the thing. Where is the control?
Because as a senior citizen association, it's a non-political association. In regard to Intangki National Park, we had a number of discussion and association has filed RTI. In reply to that, the RTI Commission has given their findings. So based on that, we have called you to review the issues.
We have been hearing rather serious rumors that the Intangki Reserve Forest was being overrun by the NSA and IM, and the Forest Department was not being able to really manage the supervisory work over the Intangki Reserve Forest. We didn't know whether these rumors were factual or not. But then the information that was circulating at that time became more and more serious, and therefore the senior citizens, based on our concern for our people, filed an RTI. Now, we did not file an RTI to the Forest Department directly, basically because we were rather skeptic that the state government or the government department may not give us a truthful, honest answers. And therefore, we wanted to induce a little bit of a kind of pressure point. And therefore, the RTI was filed with the governor's office, and from where the chain of event had been taken for the governor's office to forward the RTI to the concerned department through the chief secretary and so on. So it took some time. Now, the senior citizens have raised basically around 9-10 questions concerning the Intangki Reserve Forest. But the more pointed issues that we were interested in were just about 4 points, and that was to do with whether the Forest Department posted at Intangki as managers, supervisors, the people who are in charge to upkeep the Intangki Reserve Forest from the Forest Department, have been asked to vacate their official quarters, and that the vacated quarters have been occupied by the NSA and IM cadre. And then, so when we received the information ultimately by the Forest Department, their response was absolutely indifferent and uncommitted, and without any definitive confirmation as to the questions that we raised. But in the meantime, the Chief Information Officer, he initiated the process of calling both the Forest Department and the senior citizens to sit together in his court and have a one-to-one interaction as to the issues that were raised by the senior citizens. When we sat with the Chief Information Commissioner face to face, there were very many answers that indifferently that had been given to us by the Forest Department. Totally went into a changed kind of a gear when we started asking pointed questions about the real status of what the Forest Department is doing in Intangki. And it came out with absolute clarity, with no doubt, apart from their official answer, which was indifferent. In the interactive session, the Forest Department had made a very, very clear, unambiguous statement that by the early 1993-94 onwards, in fact, the Forest Department personnel posted at Intangki, families, they were all being harassed by the NSA and IM cadre. It was a consistent thing, and things started getting more and more perpetuated after the ceasefire. But the government servants of the Forest Department that were posted in Intangki, they were unable to bear the pressure of the kind of threat that were being personally given to the individuals and their family. And so one by one, the forest staff, officers and rangers and the rest of the infrastructural ministerial staff, they all left their place of posting out of fear. Now, when we had asked questions as to how come that the state government had not taken any action and whether the forest department made it a point to inform the state government or their immediate superiors, they were very, very definitely in their answer to say that, well, from the very start, all these harassments and various other activities of aggressive threats have been reported to the higher-ups, but there have been no direct instruction from the state government, neither has the state government taken any kind of an action to make the NSIM stop this threat exercises. But it is more than clear that the Forest Department, when exposed to the threat of whatever kind, with families and children, they were feeling unsafe to be continuing there, and so they left one after another. They did not leave at the time. And the question we had asked also was, did the state government give direct orders to the Forest Department and the Intangki staff to vacate the quarters so that the NSA and IM can take over? They said there was no such directive from the state government or the department, but the fact is that the matter had been reported to the higher-ups. That is what the director of the Intangki Reserve Forest in charge made as a statement. Now, it is absolutely apparent that despite the fact that this kind of harassment was being committed by the NSA and IM, the state government has kept completely silent, had given no directives, and have complicitly made the whole situation continue as it is. And as of today, it has been confirmed by the Forest Department that as of today, all the government buildings that are in Intangki, meant for the forest departmental officials and staff that are made responsible for the management of the Intangki Reserve Forest, are all being occupied by the NSA and IM cadre. Now, as senior citizens, we were shocked to hear this particular aspect of the ground reality, where the government department has actually vacated their premises to allow the NSA and IM to take over, and that knowingly the state government has taken no action at all. We find this as a government that has got absolutely no particular interest in protecting the interests of the public, protecting the interests of ecosystem or environment, and they are allowing the whole situation as probably as a matter of a compromise for a political solution. Because we are aware of the fact that NSA and IM in their competency clauses may not have sought for occupation of the Intangki Reserve Forest per se in their competency clauses, but it has been made more than clearly sufficient that their intention is to take over Intangki so that the Pan Naga or whatever rehabilitation that comes after the solution will all be carried out through the establishment of Intangki Reserve Forest area. Now, though initially we had heard about this as an intention of the NSA-IM, today we are more than clear that their intention is in fact actually put in practice, where they are actually in physical occupation of the Intangki Reserve Forest. And we have been told by the Forest Department official that had come for this particular press conference to say that as of today, even the officials that are posted to Intangki Reserve Forest as officers of the department have to take permission from the NSA-IM to carry out their duties in Intangki. Now, where is the state government gone? And we have been, overall, there has been various comments being carried out and said that the state government has been functioning more like a shadow government, whereas the NSA-IM government, which is supposed to be the shadow government, is a more powerful government, more powerful than the state government. And by virtue of that action of taking over a government establishment, it proves the fact that the NSA-IM is commanding the totality of governance in the state of Nagaland, and that the chief ministers, be it Mr. Nifiu or be it Mr. T.R. Zeleng or Mr. Sirozile, in their own term, in their own time, they have allowed such a development to take place. And we have had even people like Chief Minister, people like Mr. T.R. Zeleng, openly saying that he is willing to allow 100 acres of land to be given to the NSA-IM for rehabilitation. So when the total purpose of the state government is placed as a policy to appease the NSA-IM with everything but anything that they can, they have had special development zone for foothills areas where the inner line pass will not be applicable. All of these little schemes that have been coming up over the years all appear to be a scheme in which to settle our Naga brothers from elsewhere beyond our state boundary as a convenient haven for their rehabilitation. It appears to be so. And we are beginning to feel very uncomfortable for this little fact that when there is a state government that has been totally ignored by the NSA-IM and carrying out brash and aggressive action such as occupying even a state government establishment, I think things have gone much too far. The Pan Naga Hoho that I have been talking about over and over again is such an establishment that is being planned to be set up in Intangki. And this is an establishment or a forum which is being designed by NSA-IM to continue their control over the state of Nagaland even after the post solution is arrived at. And I have spoken a lot over the years in writing concerning the matter of the state of Nagaland becoming a Naga nation, even though there is no integration. I have spoken about the Pan Naga Hoho becoming a supra-statutory authority where they will appoint even members into the upper house, and the upper house will control the total activity of the state government nominated by the Pan Naga Hoho. All of these issues I have ventilated over the years. Now the Intangki issue has become a rather clear reality that NSA-IM intends to implement everything that they have got in their book, in their competency clauses that they want to implement, and implement it from Intangki base. Now, we have to understand this. Now, Nagas have struggled for self-determination for the last 76 years, and when we got a statehood, the state area is only 16,579 square kilometers. Intangki area comprises of 202.2 square kilometers. Now, consider this. If 202 square kilometers is taken out from a small state called the state of Nagaland, which is only 16,579 square kilometers, what will be the balance area of the state of Nagaland? Just consider that. Will be reduced from what we are to 16,377 square kilometers. And the Nagas have been fighting all this while, thinking that we can generate an integration of all the Nagas from everywhere else and increase a boundary. Instead, today the state government is sitting complacently with all the struggle for our own identity, our own establishment and everything said and done. Today the state government is prepared to forego 202 square kilometers of land from Nagaland rather than gain something out of this self-determination issues with the government of India. So did the Nagas fight all these years, lost so many lives, gone through such severe, excruciating troubles over these many years just so as to lose whatever little we have got in our hands? You see, is the state government so totally unconcerned about the people that they are governing? They are not chief ministers for their own benefits. They are responsible to the people. And if they are going to give away this kind of control of the state government to a faction, I think the people of Nagaland have a lot to explain their emotion to the state government that is totally prepared to sell them out with such a level of indifference and scheming all the time to ensure that one faction gets a privilege beyond their. We do not know how much of forest they have already destroyed because the forest department officials who are there to look at and protect the reserve forests are nowhere available inside because they are not there. And as I had earlier mentioned, even the forest department had to take the permission from the NSA to go into the thing. Where is the control? And they are deforesting as many, whatever they are excavating from there. But we have heard that there has been rather serious logging in the Intangki forest. There have been no environmental clearances from anywhere. It is something that they are doing with complete contempt that there is even a state government, the NSA. And therefore, we as a senior citizen wanted to present the bare facts of whatever has been found in course of our interaction and to pointedly let the government of Nagaland know and let them also be responsible to answer to the people of Nagaland. What has the chief ministers within the period from 93, 94 onwards have they been doing when all of this takeover of government establishment has been consistently and aggressively been conducted by the NSCNI? What was the reason for their indifference? Because we are clearly aware, without any doubt, that the information of NSA and IM takeover of Intangki is more than sufficiently officially known to the state government, from the state department to the state government and the chief minister, definitely, whichever chief minister it might have been, either is it Mr. Rio, Mr. TR or Mr. Sirote, they know for a fact that NSA and IM has taken over the complete control of the Intangki forest, and that they still have not taken any initiative to date. There is no instruction, there is no directive as to what the forest department should do. What kind of a state government is this? And therefore, today we are asking the state government pointed question. What are they doing? What is their intention? And what do they intend to do? After having found that the NSA is occupying the establishment, government establishment at Intangki, what does the state government intend to do, having been put into public domain the facts of the reality that has been otherwise discovered? These are the issues that has been raised, and we wanted that not only the state government and the chief minister, but for the government, for the total population, Naga population, to take a look at this reality and ask the same question. Did the Nagas fight all these years for self-determination, just so as to lose even the little that we have?